It's been a few weeks since I've been back from Wodapalooza, and I thought I would share on my YouTube channel just this sort of unscripted video. You know, a lot of times I try to create a video that's just, well refined and just super edited and beautiful and all that, and a lot of times ends up slowing me down, so I actually don't share because I don't want to edit for hours and hours. Although I love creating those videos, and those will be coming as we approach the Open and the quarterfinals and semifinals and ideally the CrossFit Games in 2022. I didn't have a chance to film a lot at Wodapalooza, so I thought I would just talk through my experience there. What I felt like my experience was, what some of the wins were for me, some of the strategies for me, how I did well there again. Second place a couple years ago, first place here. I actually haven't been anywhere but first place in a live competition since Wodapalooza 2020. So that feels pretty good, and I'm feeling like I've got great momentum. So I want to talk about some of that, talk about Wodapalooza. I actually want to gripe about Wodapalooza a little bit. There's a couple of things that are a little bit annoying. So I want to share those with you, like some of the realities of being a master's athlete in a huge competition like that. So let's jump in. First of all, Wodapalooza is a really fun event. I ended up renting an Airbnb with Rick Stevenson. He's a master's athlete who's in the 50 plus category, who I met at Legends a couple of years ago. Just a great dude. And he and I got this corner spot, beautiful condo in Miami, 2-bedroom, and we lived the dream. We would, I think we got there on Wednesday, so we had Thursday to sort of check in and take a little run. We actually got in a pool and we swam. The pool was 60 meters long. Yeah, 60 meters long. Normally a pool is like 25. This thing was 60. And so we would literally, each day we'd compete, and then that night we'd, eat dinner that we prepared ourselves, like something healthy. And for me, have just a glass of wine that helps kind of cool my nerves on competition nights. And we'd watch the live stream or catch up on the live stream from every day. So the weather was amazing, except for the last day we got some rain. But just in the middle of winter, to be able to go somewhere, enjoy the camaraderie with a friend, to enjoy seeing everybody in competition, guys that I've competed with for years now, and just seeing them again and enjoying them, and the banter and the camaraderie that all goes on the competition floor is really, really fun. So I appreciated that about Wodapalooza. I appreciated the weather, I appreciated the warmth, and just the whole feel of the event. It has this big, CrossFit is back kind of feel to it, just thousands of people, thousands of fans. For me, still, it's a fun experience to have people walk up to me and say, hey, Jason, I've been wanting to introduce myself to you and say hello. And to have fans is really cool. It's really cool. So I'm 46 years old and I have some fans. I'm not Tom Brady over here. I got a little fun things. So the feel was great. As far as the events were really, really fun. They released a couple of the events beforehand, and I was able to test them in my gym. Now, I had COVID again, like the second time I've had COVID, and a vaccine, and I've got sick all 3 times. COVID in 2020, the vaccine in 2021, and then again, getting COVID. I was sick 3 times. So gnarly. But they released the workouts, and one of them was, a bunch of dumbbell box step over kind of thing, or kettlebell box step over kind of things, really gnarly chipper. And I practiced that in my gym prior to going down there, and had a 10-minute time cap, and I actually didn't even finish the workout in practice. So it's really interesting. I wasn't feeling 100% yet, but in practice, I time capped. In person down there for the competition, I finished the workout with 2.5 minutes to go. So I was basically 3 minutes faster on a 10-minute workout in person versus training, or even testing it out in training. And I think that's interesting. I post on the leaderboards all the time in Mayhem, who I follow, and I'm by far not it doesn't appear that I'm the best athlete in there. Everyone kills me. I'm like, how are they going so fast as I'm logging my scores? And then in person, I am able to just turn on the afterburners and get shit done. So that was interesting. And also I practiced this barbell complex workout, which was, it was kind of a heavy complex. It started at 225, 3 hang cleans into 3 front squats into 3 push jerks, or any kind of shoulder to overhead. So you go 3, 3, 3, And then the next workout was, or the next bar was 222 at 245 pounds. And the next bar was 111, hang clean, front squat, split jerk at 265, which is getting really up there for me. And I practiced that by myself in the gym, and that was tough. Ugh, it was so tough. All I wanted to do was be able to get 265 overhead. And I didn't kill myself, but I barely got it in practice. And then I changed my strategy. I actually went straight through each complex, big gaps of rest in practice. And then on the field there, I decided that it was time under tension that was the biggest challenge. I started with 2 hang power cleans at the 225 and then dropped the barbell. Took a breath, got that load off of me. Then I did 1 hang clean, 3 front squats, 3 push jerks. And that felt pretty good. Then I did, on the 245, I did 1 hang power clean, dropped it, took a breath, just got that load off of me. And then I did 1 plus 2 front squats plus 2 push jerks. It felt pretty good. And I was like, okay, look at the clock, and I'm really moving faster than I anticipated. So I'm just kind of waiting there. And no one else is getting through the 245. And I'm like, okay, it's time for me to just go. So I hit the hang power clean at 265. I crunch my knuckle a little bit, and it's still a little bit sore, but that's okay. Do the front squat, get that jerk overhead, slam the barbell, smash the timer button, and I was so flippin' excited. That is not my event. This is not my event. A heavy barbell is not my thing. And I crushed that workout. I got second to a giant human being. I think Chris Scott was first. And he beat me by 20 seconds. We were not in the same heat. If we were in the same heat, I may have pushed it. But he was in the first heat and I was in the second heat. And I literally, it was just so exciting to get that barbell overhead. A really fun slam. Taking my belt off, slam, like I felt so good. And then I looked back and everyone was stuck at 245. And the craziest thing, in the warm-up area, and if you've been in a competition like this, in the warm-up area, you're kind of sizing up your competition. You're seeing what other people are doing. And there were guys doing like, at 225, like they deadlifted the 225, and then they like bounced 3 power cleans really quick. And I was like, oh my God, if they're gonna go that fast, I'm dead. Like I'm just watching people crush barbells up there. I mean, they're warming up to 265. It's literally no problem for them. And so I'm just thinking like, man, this is just damage control. This was a damage control workout for me. That's what I thought. I'm like, this barbell's, if I can get 265 overhead, I'll be okay. And I won't be terrible in this workout. It's just straight up damage control. And then we get out there on the floor. And I don't know what happened to the other guys. And maybe if some of you guys are watching, like tell me in the comments below, like what happened? What slowed you down out there versus practice and warm up? Because I was intimidated, way intimidated in the warm-up area. I thought this was going to be not a good placing for me, and I ended up doing well. And there was maybe 3 or 4 guys that actually got through the 265 out of 20 of us. So anyway, now my favorite moment of competition out there, I mean, they were all great, but my favorite moment, and I shared this on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, was the swim. So it was actually a 2K row. Ended up being a 250 meter swim. It was supposed to be 200, but we all went to the wrong buoy, like our entire heat. And lots of heats went to the wrong buoy. And we swam 250 meters and then a 1 mile run on an assault runner, barefoot. And I knew if I could get to that runner, I would just tear it up. I would just run as hard as I could, which I did. And I knew on the row, I didn't want to kill myself on the row and then go in the water and drown. That was basically my biggest fear. So if you don't know my history around water, I'll share that really quick. In 2018, I qualified for the CrossFit Games, and I knew that there was going to be open water swimming because there always is open water swimming. And I didn't think it would be a big deal. I swam in the pool a lot, and I was going to be fine. And I actually went to my first open water practice swim in Boulder, Colorado. They have an event there. It's a 750 meter open water swim and a 5K run. It's called the Stroke and Stride. And it's a great event. Actually, Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet was there. I saw her the first time we went there. It was kind of cool. So I'm in the water, and I'm getting ready to do this open water swim, and I've got all the confidence in the world. I'm gonna be fine. 3, 2, 1, go. I just start swimming, and I can't catch my breath. So I stop, I start treading water, like 50 meters in, and then I start swimming again, and I can't catch my breath. I'm really panicking, and I'm just looking at like, where are the lifeguards? Where are these guys? Like there's guys on paddleboards over here and there. And I'm just like, God, I try to swim again, and now I'm literally having a panic attack in the water. I can't do this. There's no way I can do this. So I whistled wave down a jet ski, and he comes over and I hold on. He's like, hey man, just need to hold on for a second. I'm like, dude, there's no way I can swim in this. You got to take me back to shore. So he took me back to the shore, and I was devastated. This is like 6 weeks before the CrossFit Games, and I can't swim 100 meters in open water. Huge panic attack. I know the root cause of that is when I was like 19, well, I guess I was 20. I was in California boogie boarding with a friend, and actually lost a boogie board, got really stuck in some waves, and I almost drowned. And I think that stamped an imprint on me that affects me when I'm in the open water. So that year in 2018, I had to work to build up the capacity to swim in open water. And even still, at the 2021 CrossFit Games, I was good. It's a 500-meter swim. I can do that. I'm confident. I've done open water swimming. I'm going to be fine. I got out there, I swam, I turned the buoy, and I started heading back, and I can't put my face in the water. I treaded water for 250 meters back, and I got 10th place in that event. And I wore myself out. I was at the end of my abilities swimming like this, as opposed to just a freestyle stroke. And so for this swim at Wodapalooza, after a 2K row, I just knew, like, if I can keep my head in the water. I practiced in a gym, like a local gym. I practiced rowing and then getting in the water and swimming. And I knew that I'm going to be out of breath. If I could just keep my head in the water for about 20 breaths, I will acclimate to the water. My heart rate will acclimate, and I will be good to go. And so we get in, I row at Wodapalooza. I get in the water. I'm like second or third, maybe fourth into the water. I kind of jog from the rowing area. I'm not in a hurry to get in the water. I get in the water. It's cold. Take that breath. And I'm like, okay, it's going to be fine. This is going to feel good after 20 strokes. This is going to feel so good. And when I get to the runner, I'm going to feel so good that I kept my head in the water for these 20 strokes. And I get my head in, I'm swimming, and I feel the panic. I feel my chest bubbling up. And I just tell myself 20 strokes. I'm literally counting 1. And each stroke is a breath. I'm counting my right arm because I breathe on my right side. So I'm counting to 20 there. I'm like, nice and easy. I'm not trying to be in a hurry right now. Just nice and easy. And do not if I let my head come out of the water and I start doing this, I'll do this the whole time. And I don't know if I can make it. So I kept my head down. And after like the 15th stroke, I felt good. And then by the 20th stroke, I felt freaking great. Like I felt so good in the water. I was like, it actually felt good. I was looking around. I was looking at people. Now I'm passing people. It was so great. I got out of the water, and if I could have slammed my goggles, kind of like you slam a barbell after a heavy lift, I would have. I was so happy getting out of the water. I think I was fourth out of the water, fourth under the runner, and I ran like hell. And, I ended up fourth in the event. Like the four of us, like there were these rows of runners, and like the first person out of the water gets the first runner, and then the second and third, and I was over here. And literally, we all got off the runners at the same time and ran to the finish line. So I caught them on the run, but I couldn't catch them, to the finish line. That's fine. But that was my highlight. It was the best thing. So if you've listened this far and you are struggling in something, I've learned that. I was actually listening to a podcast from Tim Ferriss after that swim. And one of the things we have to do with something that's really uncomfortable, like swimming in open water for me, is you just have to sit in it and hang out in it and don't escape from it until you can just acclimate to it. And I did. And it was cool. And it was really cool. So on Sunday, the last day of the event, there was a storm coming in. So here's where I'm going to shift into a couple of criticisms that I had about Wodapalooza. And you may have heard about these. You may have seen it online, and maybe this is old news, but I have two things that are slightly frustrating, and I'm just going to share them out loud. One was the communication about when masters athletes and all other athletes, except for the elite athletes, they had tons of communication with, but every other athlete that helps pay the bills for Wodapalooza had no idea what's going on that entire day. That one is frustrating. And I'll talk about that a little bit more. And two, and I knew the payouts. I knew what it was. But the actual payouts for Wodapalooza go like this. So I only know first place and second place for the elite divisions and first place for the teams. So first place for the elite division, $100,000. Second place, $35,000, male and female, which is, I don't have a problem with that. I love that. I love that prize purse for them. Teams, 3-person teams, $25,000. Great. So they get like $8,000 plus change each. Masters athletes, and we all have to go through a qualifier or get an invite. So I know that those that go through the qualifier pay for that qualifier. And now I'm actually just going to talk about the money part first, and I'm going to talk about the coordination and how they didn't communicate with us and what almost happened. I would have been so mad, but I'll tell you what happened. But so people pay to do the qualifier to qualify to Wodapalooza. And then if they do qualify to Wodapalooza, maybe you don't know, but the entry fee is like $350, $360. I bought the insurance, so it was like almost $400 to register for this thing. First place prize, Masters 45 to 49. First place, $1,000. $1,000. Second place, zero. Third place, zero. That's it. That's it. You get nothing. And when you go to events, so at the Legends competition, this was in December. You register, it was expensive. It was $320, $350, somewhere in that range. You get there and you got 6 or something shirts from Vori. They're just beautiful, amazing shirts. 5 or 6 pairs of shorts. I'm pretty sure there were socks and lots of other swag. You got this. It was amazing. And then we got they took your picture. It was like this amazing treatment. Professional photographers, like I got tons of photos from a professional photographer, Tim Chaplin, that was out there shooting. He killed it and covered us. It was freaking great. At Wodapalooza, $400 gets you a t-shirt. I mean, it's nice. It's a Noble. It's a black Noble t-shirt. It says Wodapalooza on it. It's very comfortable, but I would be happy to pay like $30 for that shirt, not $400. Now, it's a huge event and they have lots of volunteers. Actually, all the judging is volunteers. Tons of sponsors. Like, there's so much money there. Are you telling me that you can't make a prize pool that's worth going? I mean, I split an Airbnb and it cost me over $1,000. And that's because Rick scoured the internet to find the best deal. Flight was $500 to get down there. Food is like $300-$400 around that just to be there. So, and Ubers to and from the airport. All of that. Like, this is an expensive venture. And if you want like top level athletes in age groups to go there, I think there has to be an incentive structure. Like, I almost didn't go. In fact, I posted online a couple of months ago that I wanted to go to Wodapalooza, but I just couldn't justify. I can't afford it. And so I actually had a call for sponsors. I had 2 sponsors reach out. One, BarnFit, matched the prize pool. They gave me $1,000. I wore their shirt out there. BarnFit, thank you. It's amazing to do that. And then second, Mayhem Athlete covered my entry, which was absolutely awesome. Like, I'm a Mayhem Athlete. They covered my entry. So thank you guys for that. So with that, come on, Wodapalooza. Come on. Like, there has to be a better prize pool. There has to be money that you could divvy out in that. And probably the adaptive and other areas as well. I only know our age groups. That's all I'm going to address. The second thing that was really frustrating down there is that there was a huge storm coming through, like tornado watches and stuff. So we can't be out there. And, my heat was supposed to start at 1 o'clock, but the park was closing at 1 o'clock because the storms were coming. Totally, that's fine. I get that. I went down there. I was ready to work out just in case. They never said that my event was going to be canceled at 1 o'clock. They just said the park closes at 1 o'clock. So I was down there ready to go. And I had to go to the front counter like 3 times just to make sure I'm not competing at 1 o'clock. They said, no, done, nothing. And so no communication about that. And then Wodapalooza posted on social media on their story, it said, athletes, check your email or watch your email for updates. So Rick and I are up in our Airbnb just checking updates, like refreshing email, checking updates for like 3 hours. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, nothing. And then there's like something that goes out on social media that says park opens at 5 o'clock. That's all that was said. So at like 4:50, Rick and I are like, I guess we'll go down there. Like, we might as well see what's going on because we're really bored sitting in the Airbnb. So we walk down there, pretty casual, walk in about 5 o'clock. And when walking by the area where you check in before you go to an event, like, this is not even up in the warm-up area. This is down below. And one of my competitors comes up to me. He's like, Jason, we're going right now. I'm like, what? No, we're not. He's like, look, like, we're going right now. They're calling us right now. They're like 45 to 49, heat 2. Like, heat 2, like heat 1 already went with 4 guys. No one knew. No one was here. So heat 2 was like, anybody that's here, jump into heat 2 because we're going. So it's toes to bar and devil presses. That's the workout. So we're doing burpees. We're trying to warm up our shoulders. There's literally no way to warm up. We get there. We're like trying to put our grips on, change our shoes. We walk to the event area. We're backstage waiting for that event to go over. Another guy runs. He's like, hey, I'm here. So he checks in. They have like handwritten scorecards to just squeeze us in. But no one told us when we were going. The only reason we were there or that anyone was there was because they're like, I guess we'll go down and check it out. Other guys left, drove home. Guys didn't get the message. There were 2 people in my age group that just walked in at like 5:30. missed the event completely, but they were allowed to jump onto the floor and compete with another division or complete the event with another division. Like, dude, how hard is it to send out an email? Since you said you were going to send out an email. And that would be somewhat frustrating. I mean, it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. If I would have missed that last event and then got a did not finish because they didn't communicate, I'd be really upset. I found out afterwards that they were communicating through the afternoon with the elites and the teams, like making plans, like how they're going to get through it, what changes they're going to make in the workouts, like literally meeting with them to do all of that. But all of these age group athletes, literally not knowing what to do, they canceled one of our events. So over the weekend, we did 5 events, and then no award ceremony, which you kind of want to stand on a podium. So no award ceremony. And again, there were some things they don't have control of because of the weather and because of the time. You know, it cut 4 hours out of the day. But man, some serious communication that day would have been great, even just an email. So I've griped enough about that. Overall, the event was great. Will I go back next year? I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. If there's some sponsorship and if they, address some of these issues beforehand, maybe around the prize pool and stuff, maybe there would be some more incentive to go. When it comes down to it, like competing in Miami in January, that doesn't stink. But there was some major frustrations around the finish of that. And it's really funny. There's this psychological thing, like, you can experience something really, really bad, but if the end is great, that's what you remember. And in this, everything was great, but the end was bad. Really bad. No communication. Rick and I actually, after the last event, we went back to our Airbnb, we showered, we came back down for the podium ceremony, and that's when we found out there is no podium ceremony. Like, no communication around that either. We had to ask somebody. So, all right, those are my thoughts on that. If you have questions about Wodapalooza or questions about my training, or if you're interested in becoming a competitive athlete, reach out to me. Like, jump on my Instagram page, follow me, shoot me a message, leave a comment down below here. Reach out. I'd love to help you. Thanks for watching till the end, and I'll see you next time.